Right. Right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here today. It's lovely to see so many familiar faces. Well, as you know, my name's Veronica Jara, and today we're going to have a lovely meeting in which Helen, as you can see her there, and
the
cat.
Sorry. He doesn't want to go away, he likes stealing.
Well, we have, I don't know if it's a he or a she, is also interested in.
It is, yeah. Tango, he's a boy.
Tango, right. Not a very British name. Right. So thank you everybody for being here, and thank you Helen as well, and everybody, you know, at Cambridge Assessment English for this get together. We're really excited to hear what you have to mute there. I've muted myself. We're all very excited to hear what you've got for us, right? So welcome.
Thank you, Rhoda. It's a pleasure to see so many of you here today. I also wanted to say happy Friday and well done for getting through the first part of the year because we're almost done. So well done there. And it's a pleasure to be here. So I'll start sharing whenever you are comfortable, Rhoda, our presentation.
Just start sharing now.
Great.
Yeah, sure.
So we've got it all ready to go. Hopefully you can all see it now.
Yes, we can.
Great. So thanks everybody again for being here today. My name is Helen Coakley. I am based in Buenos Aires. And I work in the part of business development for Cambridge Assessment English. And as Vodo kindly said, we're here today to share some news and some resources with you, which I think will be really helpful for continuing lessons, saving you time and giving you ideas, you know, of shortcuts of how to get things done, etc. Okay. So firstly, I will hand over to Vedo, who wants to give you a little bit of news from Dickens' side, okay? And then I will continue with the resources. So over to you, Vedo.
Thank you. Right. So we just wanted to share some, you know, things that happened last year and that will be taking place this year, right? If we look at, you know, 2020 at a glance, as you know, we administered thousands of exams in different venues across the country. There you have some of them. Yes, we followed very strict protocols and we proved that they do work, right? And we also helped thousands of students to achieve their academic goals regarding international exams, right? So the pandemic couldn't stop any of us, right? So, you know, a big clap, right? Because, you know, that's no mean feat. Right, maybe we could move on to the next slide, Helen, in which we've got a big thank you, you know, for everybody involved. You know, you, of course, teachers and language schools and schools, primary, secondary schools, students, of course, right? Families that supported all of us, right? And of course, a big thank you also to, well, Cambridge, right? And the Dickens team, because, you know, we wouldn't have been able to do all this if it hadn't been for you know, all your help. Right, so, you know, what's next, right? Many things, of course, have changed, right, after 2020. Yes, I'm sure we all have so many things to say about 2020 and 2021 that it's like part B of 2020, right? But what hasn't changed is the importance of international exams, because more than ever students need to, you know, continue proving their skills to the world, right? So what can we do to help? Well, we will continue having different venues across the country, right? That will not change. The protocols will not change either, right? We need to, you know, adhere to the sanitary regulations and measures right? You already have in our webpage the exam dates, 2021 exam dates, enrollment periods, the fees, right? They are there, right? And in our webpage, there's still flexibility if, you know, there are students that need to withdraw, right, from their exams due to COVID-19 reasons. So that will, you know, continue. And as you know, because I know that many of you have attended some of our courses and webinars, we have a range of CPD courses and webinars aimed at teachers. So far, we've done webinars for teachers, but you know, there will be some for your students as well, and they are coming soon to cater for different academic needs. We've been talking to some of you, and well, we've been analyzing certain things, and we've developed this academic calendar, right? And we are somewhat, I don't know, in the middle of our academic calendar, and so far I think that, you know, the feedback we've received is very, very positive, so we're very happy about that. And well, this is our calendar. Okay, can go back. Okay. You know that CPD at Dickens includes online TKT courses, you know, for the modules, TKT Young Learners, CLIL. There's the Cambridge Professional Development Qualifications on Educational Leadership going on. And well, as I said, all these webinars for teachers and students that we are offering as well. So we can, right. And that's our calendar. That's what we've done so far, right? In May, June, and well, in July, we'll be having the next webinar for teachers, right? And then as you can see in August, we will start having some webinars. As from August, we'll start having some webinars for students as well, right? So more information regarding this coming soon. And Helen, if you can go to the next slide. Right, this is our next webinar, right? Friday, 30th of July at 1 o'clock. Tere will be, you all know Tere, she needs no introduction. She's just Tere. So Tere will be in charge of this webinar that will be connected to ways of developing speaking skills at B1 and B2 levels, right? This time for teachers, right? But as I said, the webinars for students are coming soon, right? So we're very excited to share this with you, and well, we look forward to seeing you there. Right. So Helen, over to you now.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay, so great news and great to hear there's so many things coming up. There's always, that's the lovely thing about Dickens. They're always coming up with new ideas and ways to support you. So obviously, if you have questions or doubts, you know, there's resources, but you also have the team there close to you to help out whenever you need it. So what did I want to talk about today? So this is kind of a little bit of a download of what I want to mention to you all. Firstly, a little bit of good news for 2021. Talk a little about what happened in the region last year with the pandemic, and then share some resources with you, a little bit more news for this year, and then we'll be finishing with time for questions, okay? So the first thing I wanted us to think about is obviously last year, and I really liked your way, Veda, of saying this is like part B, isn't it, of the pandemic, because we're still in a similar situation. It's not over. But I think that we really should sit back and recognize, acknowledge the achievements from last year, okay? Because we all had to adapt to a situation. There was no 3-month notice period to find out, okay, this is going to happen. You need to prepare your tech skills and you're going to be at home and you need to do this, this and that, okay? So it was one day to another, wasn't it? And we were all under extreme pressure as far as to continue students learning despite internet connection issues, despite maybe not having the access to the resources, having to change the whole dynamic of teaching face-to-face to teaching online, everyone having to deal with having their family in the same room while you're all continuing with your everyday activities. It's not an easy thing to go through, and we're still going through it, okay? It's not over. So firstly, I want you to think about that and give yourselves a pat on the back, because honestly, it's a huge achievement as teachers, okay? We've had to deal with pressure from parents, from family, from directors, from the students themselves feeling anxious about the situation. So well done. And like I said, I have gotten a good news to share with you to continue this journey, this difficult journey, okay? So what happened in our region last year? So in business development, we are in charge of well, 9 countries in the region, but more specifically, I'm working with Argentina, Uruguay, and Chile. In each country and each region of the countries had like experienced scenarios very different depending on the timing, etc. Obviously, we are all very envious of how Uruguay dealt with the pandemic. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but seeing it from outside, living in Argentina where we had the longest lockdown in the world, we were extremely jealous of our neighbours who were already back at school in June or having some sort of protocol or exam sessions and having a little bit of normality. So well done to you all. Obviously, it's not over. We went in and out of lockdown. You know, every time there's a COVID case, schools lessons getting cancelled or the bubbles, etc. It's not normal. But in Uruguay, we had 4 exam centres that presented local authorizations, which were permits to show that they could then take exam sessions. Cambridge took a global stand on the pandemic and decided that if there were no face-to-face classes, exam sessions would be cancelled because of the health risk. Once schools were back in face-to-face classes, the centres went to local authorities, asked for permission, got this permission, presented that to Cambridge alongside a protocol of how they were going to handle the health measures to ensure everyone was safe, okay? So flexible dates, obviously the use of face masks, hand sanitizers, how many people, the limit of how many people you could have in a room, having the windows open, etc., okay? They worked really, really hard to present all this information and to give their students the opportunity to carry out these sessions, okay? So that was Uruguay. So we had 4 exam centres. In Argentina, we had 10, much later in the year, from about in maybe like Rosario, Cordoba was more August, September, and the rest of the country maybe November, December, where we had sessions, okay? And as far as Chile is concerned, it was very geographical, Chile. There were areas that were in lockdown, areas not in lockdown, sessions that took place, sessions that were cancelled at last minute, etc. They also had 4 centres that managed to do this whole process and have some sessions. But anyway, like I said, overall, we had more than 300 sessions in the region. And the great news of all of this is that we had no reports of any infection during these sessions, okay? So it really does go to show that if we follow the safety measures, the health measures, and we are careful, students do have the opportunity to sit for their exams and prove their skills to the world, which is what we all want, okay? So that's the situation from last year. Backstage, what we were doing was trying to expand our range of digital resources so that you guys had more support from your classes at home. This is kind of like a short list of what was included, what was launched. I'm going to talk about everything in a little bit more detail now so that you've got more information on each tool, okay? So this one is not new. I'm sure everyone in the room has heard of it or tried it, but just in case, Write and Improve is a tool that you can use to practice writing with your students. It's great because it gives them a little bit more of an autonomous edge to their writing skills. Okay, how is it used? Right, it's a platform that you go on, you have lots of different types of writing exercises to try. The students answer the question in a little box, typing, they submit it, and they receive feedback. It is marked by in artificial intelligence, the writing piece that they've done, and they're given feedback and a mark, which is related to the Common European Framework, okay, just as they would have in the exam. It's really nice, this, because, like I said, I think it really does encourage students to be a bit more independent when it comes to writing, and also it gives them the chance to submit this piece of writing as many times as they like, following the feedback, which may just be 3 points of, okay, this is a B1, this was great, why don't you look at, I don't know, sometimes students forget to add paragraphs when they're typing, okay? So think about adding paragraphs or connectors to organize your text in a more sophisticated way. All they do is do that, press enter, and then they receive more feedback and a different mark. So it's a nice way of them learning to enhance their level or the quality of their writing without that demoralizing sensation of receiving your writing with all the colored, this was wrong, you've got to write it again from scratch, okay? Like that is frightening for them sometimes. So that's one good thing. The other good thing is it saves you on your marking, okay? Because the computer's doing that bit for you. Write and Improve has a free version and it has a paid version. In the paid version, the teacher can create their own classroom, digital classroom. They can set homework, they can receive writing, they can monitor the performance of the class. You have access to exam practice for FIRST and for IELTS extra. Obviously, the free version is good enough, but just bear in mind that that's there if you're interested in using something like that, okay? For each one of these resources, there is a webinar on our Cambridge English YouTube channel, which explains the resource in a little bit more detail and gives you ideas of how to use it in the classroom. These webinars usually last about 50 minutes, okay? So anyway, so if there's one in particular that you're interested in trying, or you say, I'm not sure how to implement it, you can have a look at those webinars. And another thing I didn't mention at the beginning is you will be receiving this presentation, okay, with the links. So don't worry about making notes or screenshots. You're going to get everything over email, okay? Any questions up until here? Comments? No? Okay, great. Weekly. Does anyone know Weekly? Has anyone tried it? Oh, everyone's shaking their head. There must be somebody who's tried it. Nobody? Right, well, I'm going to show you now.
Well, they are in for a treat then.
They are.
This is like the solution to every teacher.
Okay, I'm going to show you how it works. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so Weekly, what it is like an exam preparation guide. So I'm going to share my screen 1 moment. And it's free, which is all what we really care about, isn't it? Okay, so hopefully you can all see my screen now. So you go onto this website and it's very, very simple. You can choose here the steps. So you have the exam. This is available for starters, so young learners up to First for Schools. It's thought more for school levels, okay? So for example, we can choose here First for Schools, the exam. We can choose the number of weeks available for teaching. This could be 50, this could be 30. You could do this for an intensive class. Okay, so maybe you want just 3 weeks of intensive practice at the end of a course, or revision weeks, I don't know, whatever you want. Let's choose 30 just to show you like an academic year, but more realistic. And then you can choose how much time you dedicate to exam practice in your year, or your week, sorry. So this is per week. Here, like again, you'll see you have up to 50 hours, but I don't know, let's think that maybe you use a part of your teaching time and not all of it for exam practice. Let's put 3 as an example. And then you submit, build my plan. And then what you'll see is you can prioritize your learning objectives. So what you have here is the skills or the papers, and you can choose to prioritize certain skills more than others. For example, maybe you have a group where they find, I don't know, use of English very difficult. So you decide to put use of English at the top. Okay, prioritize it. Maybe you have a group where you don't want to look at writing. You want to set them writing for homework, and you don't want to use your class time or exam prep time, so you can remove it. Okay, so you can personalize this. Maybe you've got 2 groups of first, and one finds use of English easy and the other one finds writing more difficult. Like you can chop and change. Okay, and then you select build my plan. And what you have here is your plan for all the exam prep for the next 30 weeks done. Okay, so remember I selected 3 hours. So the first week, it tries to adapt to the amount of time you have. The first week is just as an example, an exam sample paper, which lasts 3 hours, 30 minutes. The second week is 2 hours, 50 minutes. You can like click on these for an example, and look, what you have is a PDF ready to go. 30-minute reading and use of English test overview, step by step. The lesson plan is ready to use in PDF format. Okay, the same for writing. 30 minutes, listening, 30 minutes. Okay, you can download this, you can print it, you can share it with other teachers in your institution. It's magic. Okay, it really is. Like, think about it for starting the year and doing all your prep that way, or like I said, after the winter holidays, going back and thinking about using it. You know, now that we're like, that's where the chip definitely for the students is, okay, I need to start revising and taking this more seriously. Think about using it there. Okay, so that is my favorite resource of all the things I'm going to show you today. So hopefully that's the one that you'll get most out of, I think. So back to my slideshow. Again, as I said, there's a webinar for each of these resources on YouTube that you can have a look at to see how it's used or for ideas. Okay, I'm just opening the chat because I can see people are chatting. I don't know if there's any question.
Somebody's saying that this is a great resource.
Ah, great, thank you.
I'm sure now everybody is looking it up and you know,
that's great.
Building.
I think you'll really like it. Okay, Kahoot. I'm sure you all got sick of using this last year, but I'm going to mention it anyway, just in case there's anyone that didn't use it, because this is a lifesaver when students are not paying attention, or they're tired, or you need to change the energy of the classroom. Getting them playing this is a great way to get them moving. Okay, for anyone that's not used it, just in case, Kahoot is like a quiz game where you can personalize and make your own questions and answers. It can be multiple choice, and the students enter the quiz using a code. They can enter through a phone, through a laptop, or computer, or a tablet. Okay, and it's a quiz, it's a competition. So the question comes up, the answers, and they have a time limit to answer the question correctly. So it gets really competitive. They do enjoy it. during the questions, you have a leaderboard where it shows who's winning. You create a username. It can be a funny username. Okay, so it is a lovely tool to use. I like this particularly for younger students, maybe primary level, because I think that's the age we found most difficult to continue virtually, right? I think the older students adapted more so. The adults were happy to sit in bed and learn English sitting in bed. But maybe the little ones did find it a little bit more tricky not having that face-to-face interaction. However, this can be used with any age. I think teenagers love it too. So what do we do from Cambridge? We came together with Kahoot and we created some Kahoots ready to go for the levels of starters, movers, flyers. So they're ready to use, ready to download. You can make the most of those. And then this year we created some for teenagers. Okay, so those are also ready to go, and the link will be available in the email with the presentation. Okay, so make the most of them because it's free and it's there for you guys to make the most of it. Speak and improve. Has anybody met Sandy or had a go? Talking to Sandy. This was a new project, a research project released by the university August, September last year. As you can see from the name, it's similar to Write and Improve. However, the difference here is that Sandy is a robot and she asks you questions and you have a conversation, and then after the conversation she gives you a mark based on the Common European Framework and a little bit of feedback. It's fun, it's relaxed, it's not a serious tool, but I think it's a great resource for adults or teenage students that feel shy or timid about speaking in class, or don't have anyone to practice with at home, or maybe in class they'll talk, but now with this whole virtual reality, they don't feel comfortable with their family and the parents in the background that are listening to, oh, can you speak English? Okay, you know, that sort of thing. So this is here for them to use in their own time to practice speaking with somebody, fluency, pronunciation, etc. Okay. Exam Lift is a phone application for A2 Key and B1 Preliminary. It is a phone app that students can download. It's free. There's a free version, there's a paid version. In the free version, they have access to a limited amount of activities a day for all the skills based on A2 or B1 level. So it's a nice way for them to practice English and to encourage this idea of it's a skill and you need to practice it every day on your own, okay? You can set it for homework. They can do it wherever they are because it's on the phone. And I think it's also the age of the students, especially at school level, that sit for key and preliminary it's often the age, especially preliminary, where students start to rebel a little bit against the teachers and the idea of learning. I don't know if you guys find the same, but I don't know, it's that sort of teenage rebellion stage. So at least if they're going to be using their phone and on TikTok and doing whatever, give them a resource that they can use on their phone and use it for something productive, okay? So this, as I said, is available, and it's I don't think it's necessary to pay for it. I think the free version is enough access per day for the students to get something out of it. And it's available on iPhone and on Android, so you've got it for both systems there. Okay. Teaching English Online is a massively open online course, or a MOOC. I don't know if anyone has done it in the past. Did anyone sign up last year, or it was available before the pandemic, this one? No. It's a great course. It's free to sign up. There are various various dates a year to sign up for this. Definitely Friday. And you can sign up for this and you can do it at your own speed. You dedicate a certain amount of hours a week, and you have activities and you have access to forums where you can talk to other teachers that have a lot of experience in teaching English online previous to the pandemic. They share ideas. It's like a hub for learning. Okay, the feedback we've received for this course is overwhelmingly positive, and teachers really do feel that it's a valuable way of feeling more confident or having more ideas to add to their teaching online. Okay. Like I said, it's free to enroll. The content is free. The only paid part of the course is if you want to download the certificate afterwards. Okay. So bear in mind that the content, which is what counts, is free. Then our new English classroom. This website was created to think a little bit about the transition of online classes to face-to-face classes and the blended model of having a little bit of both, you know, the sort of the bubble system of having some classes some day and not other days. The idea of this is to think about, to offer sort of emotional support for learners. So it's not been easy for them maybe to, a lot of them have lost confidence in their language level in this time. Many will feel nervous or uncomfortable with the whole idea of seeing their teacher with a face mask on and them using face masks and understanding the person. You know, it is a barrier of some sorts, isn't it? As far as pronunciation, understanding, as far as that emotional connection that you have with your students. The idea, like, you know, the idea is to sort of talk about these things and not leave them things unsaid, so that students can feel comfortable. And I think we do have that special bond with students, don't we, as language teachers? Like you are more connected with them, with their feelings, with their emotions, with what they like doing, what they don't like doing. We're not talking about a subject, we talk about their lives, don't we, in English? So I think like we do have a special relationship where we should address issues or concerns that they might have. And then, of course, for you guys, having mixed ability classrooms, which has always been an issue, but I think is something even more apparent now after the pandemic, because some students adapted brilliantly, other students found it more tricky to adapt. And so I think we need to address that also, how to handle that in the classroom. And then, of course, there are some teaching plans online for online classes that you can download there. Okay. Sorry, I've talked loads. Any questions, comments up until now? No? Okay. These candidate booklets are available for the levels of first advanced proficiency. They are PDF booklets that you can download, which basically include information related to the day of the exam, what it's going to be like, what to take with you, how, and the, you know, do's and don'ts during the exam session, tips and stuff like that. And then also it has how to understand the results or the grades once you've got those. So I think it's nice for older students to sort of become, again, a bit more, to take ownership of this experience of an exam. And not just because my mum or my dad or whoever said I had to do it, to understand, okay, this is what the day is going to be like. You're the one doing the exam. You know, the frequently asked questions that they ask you in class related to the day of the exam. So you've got those there to make the most of with them. Then we've got these writing guides, assessing writing guides. One of the questions we often get queries from teachers and even experienced teachers is the idea of is marking and correction and how many marks to give when, etc. These guides are there to help you with that process a little bit. So they're available for key until proficiency. What they do is they have like sample writings from candidates which have been corrected for you to sort of compare and analyze. They have information on the criteria used to mark, so content, communicative achievement, organisation and language. And yeah, it's, you know, it's there to, as a help for you guys, or support guide to have it, you know, to have it open when you are correcting or marking and you're saying, okay, so is this a 3? Is it a 4? Is it a 5? Why? Okay, thinking about this. So those are there to help you too. And there's also, again, lots of videos on our Cambridge English YouTube channel, which talk about, you know, the assessment team talking about how to correct writing and mark writing. Then these other guides that we have here are for supporting learners with dyslexia. Specifically dyslexia in this case. They're guides that basically talk about how to approach activities in the classroom, present certain things, how to adapt. We are all aware that nowadays we have people with different learning styles and different necessities in the classroom. They've always been there, but maybe nowadays we have more awareness of it, and people are happy to accept it or adapt to that. Not just from teachers' perspectives, but also parents and families that sometimes are in denial or don't want their student to be treated, their child to be treated differently, etc. I think that what we try to do from Cambridge and as teachers is give everyone the opportunity to do their best. And the idea is to, okay, a student has special requirements, not let them sit for the exam. No, we adapt the exam and the preparation so to their needs, because their language, we are assessing their English language level, and that's it. We're not assessing other things, just their English language level. So there are so many things we can do to adapt exams to their requirements. And if those adaptations can be done, we also need to adapt the preparation for these exams. Remember, and I'm sure Dickens is always giving you lots of information about this, that if you have students which need and they need a particular adaptation to an exam, to a paper, whatever it can be, and it's not always extra time, okay? That's the typical one that everyone says. No, we can make the font bigger, we can remove the images from young learners, we can allow for a student to have a scroll who writes the answers for their exam. We can have somebody who reads the questions to the student. We've even had cases where students that suffer panic attacks or epilepsy or whatever in an oral exam, they just need somebody there with them to support them in those moments of stress or feeling uncomfortable with breathing, etc. All of these things can be arranged, okay? It's just a question of having open mind, talking to the centre and presenting certificates or doctor's notes which explain why we need this particular adaptation, okay? And obviously, as I said,
if I may interrupt, sure. Because I was going to make some comments on that as well. That in the web page, right, if you go to Cambridge's webpage, you will find like a summary of all the things, all the special arrangements, right, that can be made, and you've got, you know, a really long list of things for each paper, right? And as Helen was saying, what is very, very important, of course, is as well, you know, adapting, right, your teaching, but also when asking for these special arrangements, right, to have a doctor's note or a report or something, right, that backs that up. Yes, and we always do that, and we always, of course, you know, encourage teachers and families as well to make sure that, you know, they have the appropriate conditions, as you said, so that we can make sure that everybody can do their best. So if you have any questions or anything, you know, in connection with that, you can always write to me or write to, you know, the INT exams email address, and we will help you with that, of course.
Thank you, Vedal. Yeah, and that's it. It happens to me sometimes that I go to certain schools where they receive me and they say, oh, but we are a school that specializes in integration, or a school that specializes in inclusiveness. And I always say to them, like, but that doesn't mean that you can't work with Cambridge. Like, I think that there's this idea that because the exam is so demanding on your English language level, that if a student has a certain necessity that they can't sit for the exam, and that's not the case. Okay, we've had cases where students, like I said, have done very excellent and had great performances in exams. They just need a certain change in the exam, and that's fine. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, but in the web page there are also sample papers of these, you know, special arrangements. So it's very, very important that whenever, you know, somebody asks for special arrangements, that you have a look at the sample papers. Sure. To make sure that that's what you use, right? You know, throughout the year, so that it's not the first time they you know, are faced with, right? They have to deal with that on the day of exam. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So it's very important to have a look at that as well, those sample papers.
Absolutely. And what's on there there are other things. Okay, not everything is published. So like I said, if there are any doubts, ask. You just need to ask. Okay. So these guides are there for you guys to make the most of. So please do download them. And then here, what I have is, they are just some lesson plans for 45-minute long classes for all the levels up to advanced. For online classes. So, you know, when we have moments where we need to cover somebody because someone's ill, I'm not just thinking about the pandemic now, you know, we are in winter now, aren't we? And people do get ill. There are moments where you need to cover a class and you didn't have anything prepared or whatever. Well, you've got these here that are ready to go with homework and everything. Okay. Does anyone know Pocoyo or Pocoyo? Oh, this one you all know. Oh, okay. So we came together with Pocoyo, which for those of you who don't know is a TV character for little ones. And we organized, what we did was we designed some activities for children aged 2 to 6. Songs, nursery rhymes, that sort of activities. Obviously, as you guys know, we do not have exams or assessment for that age group because given the research and everything that's done, it's not appropriate. You know, English should be something that they should be exposed to for fun, for, you know, for stimulation of like a singing, you know, animals and colors, you know, they're learning, it should be fun, okay, at that age. And then the assessment comes later. So anyway, if you have kinder classes, nursery, children, grandchildren, and you want to use some type of activity in English with them, you've got these. And like I said, they're designed by Cambridge. So there's some really, really annoying songs that you'll hear 800 times and then say, I don't want to hear it again. But, you know, they love it and they get hooked. So that's the important thing. Digital posters. These are available for levels, the school level, so starters to first for schools. And what they include is like an exam preparation checklist, which has, I don't know, for a teacher maybe that's never prepared students for exams, you have the teacher's handbook, you have the vocabulary list, everything that you might need related to the exam is there to be downloaded, okay? And then you've also got a part which is activities for students to do at home, and you have support for parents in the case of young learners. Okay, so maybe activities, information, tips, advice, etc. These could be presented maybe in a parents' meeting. You can send them to, or beginning of the year or beginning of the course when you're talking about the exam. Look at, this is all that we have available to prepare for the exam, all of this information to read and to check beforehand. So you've got those there and it's all in one place, okay? The Preparation Centre newsletter is something that I'm sure most of you receive. It's sent out once a month from Cambridge, and it includes news. It also includes launching of new resources, tools, etc. It's probably an email that you've got there that you never open because you already get so many emails every day that you need to check. But if you've got an old email registered, or it's going to spam, or you've got a new person in the institution that you want them to make sure they're receiving this information from Cambridge, the link is here to subscribe. Okay, like I said, it's an email once a month, and all the stuff that I'm presenting today will appear in these newsletters. Okay, so bear in mind that you may have already received it. Virtual certificate ceremonies. I don't know how many of you have planned to do that based on 2019 or 2020 or the exams to come, but we decided to design sort of something to make the most of that day. Maybe you can organize a ceremony over Zoom, where the nice thing there is to invite parents, grandparents, the whole school, students, and celebrate the achievements of everybody that's involved in this process. Okay, maybe you don't have the physical certificate to present to them that day, but you do have a moment where you say, look at all we've achieved in this time given the circumstances. You've got here, so in this particular kit, you've got editable backgrounds to share, for Zoom or for Teams, where with congratulations with the Cambridge logo, etc. You have a range of selfie stick props that you can print out that they can use during the ceremony. And there's a really cool Instagram filter for students to show their English level. So they take the picture with the filter and it shows their level that they got in the exam to share. So nice things, as I said, like it's easy to organize, everyone can go, and we should concentrate and focus on those positive things during this time. Okay, don't not forget all the hard work and the achievements of everybody involved. Local social media channels. This basically you have here, YouTube is actually global, Cambridge English, but the others, you have local channels that you can follow. So in the case of Instagram, it is Cambridge English America del Sur. I don't know how many of you are following it. You have there some really cool stuff. You have tips and advice for films to watch, TV shows. This is very oriented at learners, the Instagram page. We started to do lots of work with Luana. I don't know if anyone knows Luana, who's an influencer on Instagram. She specializes in English. She's Argentine and has, I don't know, thousands and thousands of followers on TikTok and on Instagram. And she basically gives people tips on how to speak English better. She's working now alongside Cambridge promoting. We have live sessions where we give advice and tips related to skills. And then Facebook would be more oriented to the teaching world. So for you guys, as far as like sharing ideas, resources, news, etc. And LinkedIn would be more for sort of in-company classes, business classes. There's also a page there. Cambridge English Southern Cone it is. But anyway, the links, as I said, are integrated in this page. So once you get the presentation, you can follow us there. News from me, I'm nearly done, I promise. Right, so news from August 2021 is that Cambridge, I don't know if you guys were aware, but Cambridge currently is two different entities. We have Cambridge University Press, which is the book side, textbooks, etc., readers, and Cambridge Assessment, which is the exam side of the business. But they're two separate entities. So from August this year, we will be one. Okay, so it'll be one Cambridge. I think this will be a very positive change because it happens to me often that people come and ask me questions about books, and I can give advice because I visit with people who are selling books, but I don't have the same level of knowledge as I do about exams. And I think what's going to happen here is when we start to integrate that, we'll be able to offer solutions, learning management systems, etc., which will be more beneficial for teachers and prep centres. Okay, so anyway, that's the news. I know that in Uruguay you don't have a representative of Cambridge University Press, so I hope this will be a positive change, particularly for you, because you'll have more access and more facility as far as getting information related to that. Fingers crossed, okay? But more information on that from August. And I wanted to finish with a video, which I think you'll feel like very identified with the images and the message of the video, but it's a nice way to think, to finish the session and think about, like I said, what we've all achieved in this last year and a half of world chaos.
The whole world has had to adapt to a new way of life. Our authorised exam centres and the schools and academies they work with have made great sacrifices to ensure that their students continue to receive the high standards of teaching and support that they have come to expect. Lessons go on, face-to-face, online, and a combination of the two. Students are accompanied on their learning journeys every step of the way. Teachers have adapted to the changing circumstances and modified what they do, keeping their students at the centre of everything. Our work continues. From September to today, thanks to you, thousands of Cambridge exams have been made possible. Cambridge Assessment English goes on. Passing exams is your and our strength.
Okay, so thanks all for listening so carefully for this long time. I'm free to answer any questions or comments you might have.
We don't have any questions.
Too much information.
They're still processing or building their plans in Weekly.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know about you, but when I found out about this, I said, oh my God, this is gold.
It's incredible, it is. And it's true that nobody knows it. And that's why I go crazy. And every time I go to a school, it's like, you have to see it. Miriam, do you have a question?
Yeah, hello, I'm Miriam from Dickens. Helen, nice to meet you.
Nice to see you.
I was thinking about these changes from what you were mentioning with students with dyslexia. I was really, we are at the Dickens really worried about the students who have to sit for international exams and they have some problems. So you mentioned, I think I understood that the pictures will be removed, for example, in the exam. My question is, what do the arrangements or the special things that you're going to do with those students? Because I know that some students had more time. Is that right?
It depends a little bit, Miriam, on what the student or what the teachers are requesting. So just to give you an example, there are, depending on the level or severity of a case of dyslexia, sometimes having images in an exam or colours is overwhelming for a student.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, so in those cases, if they feel that it would be beneficial for them to remove the images, they can be removed. In cases where it's not so severe, they need that visual support, don't they? So really, it's case by case.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like because it's dyslexia, we remove the images. Look, I'm just saying that it's an option, okay? Some students need more time. Some students need help maybe doing the exam on a computer. Like I said, it really is analysing each individual case and seeing what they want and what they feel more comfortable with. Okay?
Great. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Just reading the messages.
Yeah, I was going
yeah, lots of information to process on a Friday afternoon.
Well, but it's great because now we holidays, the winter break is starting, so we all have some time to check them out and keep on looking for these looking at these things and thinking of how we can incorporate them, implement them in our lessons. And
that's right. I think I obviously try to take a break, but I think that there is,
of course,
that I think that if you spend 40 minutes, an hour going through some of these things and playing about, you'll save time for yourselves in the short term, long term. Okay, because there's so many things there that are going to save you time and give you ideas. So yeah, it's a good moment to think about what can save you in those moments where you say, oh, I don't know what to do now. Yeah.
I wanted to add something very, very kind of funny, because as you mentioned, Luana, the influencer, students love her and students follow her a lot. Yeah. And they repeat a lot. So I think it's a very, very nice joint venture, let's call it, in order to be at the level of our students. So teachers, if you don't know her, just get into TikTok and type Luana, and you're going to find her immediately.
You will. Clearly she has a way of connecting and engaging the students and motivating them with their English. So I think it's great to that's it. Like, I even find sometimes I think I'm so out of touch with all of this. I don't have TikTok, for example, but like,
well, all right, but if we are teaching teenagers, we have to
adapt. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Understand what they like and what engages them. So hopefully that will be a positive thing to have taken on.
Right. Well, if there are any other questions or right. Well, right, so that's it. Maybe we can all say cheese and we can take a screenshot. Yeah. Wait, give me 1 second. Not so there. Wait. Okay, wait, because I have like 3 different screens, so we'll have to say cheese 3 times. Okay. Wait, give me 1 second because the messages keep popping up there. Okay, ready? Say cheese.
Cheese.
Wait a second. Wait. Remember I said I need it 3 times. So I need a second cheese now. Cheese.
Cheese.
And now the third one. Cheese.
Cheese.
Great. Now Fabian will be happy that we've got some pictures. Because we always forget about the pictures.
It happens.
We're not, these influencers like Luana. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Helen, as well. It's been a real pleasure. And well, thank you, everyone. And we'll be in touch. Remember that we're having our next webinar in July, right? So, we'll give you a break because we've been having like lots and lots of webinars. So we'll give you a break and then we'll come back after holidays, reloaded. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. A pleasure to share the time with you. Take care.
Bye.
Have a lovely time off.
Thank you.
Disconnect.
Bye. Thanks so much.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.